missed one back there. I want to show y'all how there's a trend to put the modern style geometric blocky homes in the middle of, you know, these old style homes. And then you got people who are trying to do new versions of old style homes. Like, you'll see a house going up and the whole look is meant to look like, you know, match that old look of the rest of the neighborhood. Me personally, I love modern. I like the spaceship house, you know, the Lego house. I like those. I like those block houses. I actually don't like them when they're so blocky. I like when they have something unique going on with them that makes them totally different. But in general, I just like that style way more than old looks. I mean, old looks have an appeal too, but for something I want personally, I like that modern stuff. The only thing I don't like about it is how on the inside, a lot of times the decor and the way the structure is super sharp like the house looks. So I don't like that because I don't want to be walking around my own house and bump into a wall and get stabbed because everything is so sharp. Some folks feel me if you know what I'm saying about the trends of architecture. And then the furniture that people tend to match that look with is all that stuff that's super sharp and dangerous. I'm like, nah, I want rounded edges and coziness inside, but outside it can look like I live in, you know, a spaceship. That's what I want. I like that. That's cool stuff. By the way, I'm on Northside Drive. Northside will take you all the way from part of, I guess what you could still call Midtown Atlanta, all the way to Marietta. Take you all the way out there. Wesley, cut back over to Peachtree. This is all Buckhead. Considered part of it. Peachtree. Welcome to Mode. Yeah, let me get black beans, seasoned rice. Actually, you can do a little bit of pintos too. Oh yeah. All right, so in lieu of recent events, unfortunate events in the Atlanta area, this is Peachtree I'm turning off of. A lot of folks know Far Road, if you know Atlanta from back in the day, how this whole area where I just turned used to be the club district. We also had art galleries, restaurants, stuff like that. But once it turned into this super fancy, high-end, chic, so to speak, environment for buying high-end stuff, you know, that's pretty much what it was known for. The Atlanta Fish Market right there. But it used to be where the club district was until the late 90s, early 2000s, and the infamous Ray Lewis fights and death that happened at the clubs and stuff. After that, because that wasn't the first of situations that was happening in Buckhead, but it was the one that just pretty much was the needle that broke the straw that broke the camel's back. Isn't that the phrase? Yeah. So the Buckhead community folks that really run stuff said enough is enough, and they shut it down. And another developer came back many years later and started what you see right now. And so now it's all about these upscale restaurants and pubs and bars and et cetera like that. But it's definitely an area that's known for its expense right now. I mean, it was always expensive in Buckhead, but it's definitely that vibe now. This is, I mean, you see it. I don't even have to explain it. It's right there. But that's a telltale story because I did a post not too long after the whole All-Star Weekend situation and hearing about the unfortunate violence and just total silliness that happened with that. I said, you know, people gonna learn. Atlanta does not play. This is not, you know, it's got a lot of areas, of course, but where there's prominence and money and established wealth, etc., blah, 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 it's not going to be tolerated. And folks think they can just come up in Atlanta and make it one big, I mean, for lack of any more sophisticated term, like one big hood. And that's just not what Atlanta is. It's never been just, you know, its hoodie element. And I think the whole trap music phenomenon and Atlanta housewives culture and all of that, you know, type of stuff makes people think, oh, okay, you know, you can get money and still be hood and just everything will be good. You can act like a fool in Atlanta. You can do whatever. No. So I'm taking y'all on this ride. I want y'all to see what it looks like now, but I also want you to consider the ramifications of everything that's going on. And I'm not speaking to my audience like you're part of the problem or not part of the problem. Just speaking to you as somebody who's from Atlanta who knows what I'm talking about and just going to share that things will change here. And you will see in the next few years, because of what happened All-Star Weekend, because of what happened up to that weekend. I mean, you know, we had multiple shootings on the highways. I mean, straight up assassinations, whatever kind of mess was going on with that. Whenever stuff like that starts happening in Atlanta, and a boost of police presence and crackdown on whatever's going on starts to happen. Sure, there's corruption. Sure, there's all kind of undertow stuff going on like any other city. But when it makes the news and when the world starts knowing about it, and when it starts to create a leniency, like, you know, the assumed, oh, you know, you can get away with stuff in Atlanta. Oh, no. Trust me, stuff is going to flip. It's going to change. And, you know, it's just, you know, like any other place, Atlanta is a place of change. Where I'm riding through now that people know about and hear about all the time, Buckhead. But Buckhead was at one time, if you want to take it all the way back, and I said this on another presentation, that, you know, Atlanta's Buckhead used to be black farmland, a black community even. You know, it started off agricultural, it turned into a little township where the Atlanta MARTA station for LENOX MALL used to be a whole black community. I was somewhere today and an older man was telling somebody this, and I was just privy to the conversation. He was talking loud enough, and I was just nodding my head the whole time where he was speaking, because he was breaking down the facts how he grew up in that community. And this man had to be probably in his 80s, you know, something like that. And he was just saying how like all of that used to be black. And folks, you know, finagled folks out of their land and forced them out and all kind of craziness. The same old, you know, abuse of black folks by the white wealth, imperialism mind state, you know, and they came in and took over. So, now that's not to say that everybody that lives in Buckhead is on that tip, but that is the history of Buckhead. You know, that's the truth. And so, it went from that to this. You know, it went from farmland and lush forest to all these glass buildings, these glass castles, and expensive, to say the least. I remember I used to do Lyft. I picked up a guy one time out here, young black guy who was doing well for himself. I asked the brother, I said, man, so how much is your apartment? And he's like, oh man, I need to get a house. I'm paying like $5,000 a month. I could have swerved off the road. Like, you paying what? You know, what? You paying what? But yeah. It's like that for some out here, you know. And he was, you know, like I say, doing well for himself. From all I could see and tell, you know, legit brother, a nice job, cushy income, and just, you know, from my perspective, throwing it away on this. Not to say that this isn't nice. I mean, it's nice. I'm not gonna say it's not nice. I like these buildings the way they look. I like all that glass and all. It looks cool. It looks wonderful. It really does. Especially on a beautiful day when you see all the reflection of the clouds and the sun. Oh yeah, it's awesome. But for folks who are constantly using the term like a catchphrase these days and saying, oh, you know, I want to build generational wealth. Well, at some point you got to get out of, and I'm saying this from a realistic standpoint, a personal standpoint, you got to get out of being a renter and become an owner. You know, it's something I've done before. It's something I've done both. I've lived both realities, and I know the benefit, no matter what, of having a home. I also know the expense of having a home. So I also say, if you're not ready for it, don't do it till you're ready, because you really will have all the bills. There is no call to maintenance man. You're the maintenance. You know, you may have somebody that you have on retainer that does that for you. When stuff goes wrong, they fix it for you, but it's on you. With a house, it's on you. Your expenses will go up. So there are advantages to both realities as we get right here at LENOX MALL. So I'm gonna do a little presentation here today. You see they got some stuff blocked off. I bet they're about to implement something new at that entrance for LENOX. But this is LENOX MALL, the infamous, I hate to say infamous, but it is what it is these days. You almost had to put that before it. It's done gotten crazy out here. They have shootings and stuff in the mall. This is LENOX MALL though. And where that Crate and Barrel down there, I don't know if you can see, yeah, Crate and Barrel down there, used to be Tower Records. That was my spot back in the day. All my real Atlanta heads know what I'm talking about. I think Tower closed late 90s, 2000s, early, something in there, I can't remember exactly. This is the entrance, the main entrance to LENOX MALL, the valet where everybody likes to floss. Where everybody likes to floss and pull up and, oh, I was at LENOX, man. Oh yeah, we was out there doing it big. You know, this is where they get their rented cars and, and pull up. Oh, it's so laughable to me. But you know, if you just gotta have it this way, yeah, that's the interest you go in for that. But I'm gonna show y'all how to survive LENOX if you come out here and park and get out without having to pay a valet. Now, if you just gotta throw some money at the valet to feel important, if that makes you feel big time, do what you gotta do. You know, that's you. Me personally, I never liked the idea of any other human being getting in my car. I don't even like going to get my oil changed. You feel me? I'm just me, you know, I'm a different breed, okay? I don't like valet. I've never liked the idea of somebody getting in my car that I don't know and driving off with it to do anything with it, you know? So, like I say, you know, some people just, that makes them feel like they've made it, man. I park valet everywhere I go. Okay, like I say, do you. So anyway, we're passing that main entrance area. I'm riding around the outer, there's like a perimeter to the mall, so to speak, like most malls. And what I'm gonna show you is some alternate places to park, because I think, you know, if you're living the safe life, if you're not the flosser, if you're ever out here and you want to know that you can get in and out safe, more so safe than most know to get out, I'm gonna show you some things, okay? So we're gonna make a turn right here. This is one of the upper parking decks. See, it's right here next to Macy's, okay? Now, to my right and around the corner of the mall is where I was at with the entrance, okay? That's that main entrance area that everybody want to go in and flock. Now, if you ain't got to do it like that, right? Look at all this park. Now, this is during a weekday, mind you. Today is, you know, this is a weekday. This is not the weekend, but you see how much parking there is on a weekday like this. Now, if it were the weekend, this could be kind of, you know, full, but I'm gonna be real with you. In my whole lifetime, I've rarely, unless it was like, you know, Christmas or something, do you see this get full, okay? So there's still, if you don't want the hullabaloo, you know, the hustle and bustle and whatnot, so to speak, this is your option right here. You got that entrance over there, you got this other one right here, okay? This will put you on the top level of one of the main areas of the mall. It will give you access to, I think when you go in this second one here, there's like the Apple store and some restaurants and things like that. You see security rolling. They out here. I'm sure they boosted their presence because of everything that's happened, unfortunately. And that's good to see. I hope they really do their job. But that's the other part of it. Sometimes with security in malls, you got those lazy security folk who really don't do nothing. But then, you know, you got some people who are serious about their job. Hell, I saw some footage recently where some folks got kicked out the mall during the All-Star weekend. It was something I didn't even really want to see. It just popped up because I was looking for something else, and you know how the algorithm works. So, are you looking at stuff about Atlanta? Well, look at this too. I'm like, oh Lord, why did I push the play button? But it didn't get too hectic. It was just kind of goofy. It's like the person was, you know, being silly in the mall, whatever, having their fun, but they, you know, kind of loud and noticeable. And I'm not even going to speak to their ethnicity and all that. I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to say they were doing what they thought was fun, and it wasn't harming nobody, but what they were doing could have brought harm to themselves, could have potentially, you know, could have hurt themselves and then want to sue the mall type of situation. So you gotta look at it from that perspective. Most people don't ever, you know, when they're young and they're silly and they think it's all about them. You got the Marriott hotel over here. They think, you know, oh, you know, I don't care about nobody else and what they think. I'm just doing me. I'm doing me. Well, the reality of doing you is, if it does cost, if you get hurt in a mall and then you try to sue the mall, but you were doing something that you ain't supposed to be doing from the beginning, the mall has every right to be like, look, man, we ain't paying you nothing. You hurt yourself. You wasn't supposed to be doing that where you were doing that, whatever. So anyway, that's kind of situation it was. They got the security on them, and the individuals that were upset were frustrated because they felt like the ethnicities of the security matched theirs, and why would you be interrogating me when I'm just out here having my fun? And I'm like, dude, y'all doing it all wrong. Like, dude, when you're wrong, just be wrong. Just be wrong and get out. But, you know, anyway, so I say all that to say, you know, a lot of stuff is happening because of the way people look at what they think they can do and ought to be able to do. So this is the food court. This is if you ever come to Lenox, especially now, because of the current temperature of Lenox, don't park here. Don't park over here. Now, why? Because some of the energy of what I just described, now mind you, the people I was just talking about, they were harmless. They were goofing off, but they were harmless. But there are a lot of thug energy goof. You know, when the mall is crowded, they love to go to the food court. It's the #1 place the hooligans are gonna be, okay? So just do yourself a favor. Don't park near the food court, all right? I'm coming up out of here. I'm making this right. Still on the perimeter of the mall. And you wanna park, like I say, that place I just showed you is a good one. I'm gonna show you one other one that's pretty decent for in and out, not dealing with the rigmarole. Bloomingdale's here is too close to the food court, but if you go up to the upper levels, see how it's a multi-level deck, you might do well with that if you had to get in and out safely and it's crowded and too much going on and you don't feel comfortable and you want to get out. And it's sad that I gotta say all this, but I really do want people to enjoy themselves when they come to Atlanta, and I want them to understand that anywhere you are, you need to have safety precautions, be realistic, and kind of the #1 rule to survive in any place is don't try to be where the crowd is. I know that's what you think you want, because you want to be all up in the mix, especially when you're young and it's hot over there, but they doing it. Well, what are they doing? Now, I'm not going to say the crowds aren't automatically bad. It's what the crowd is doing, okay? Most of the time in the food court, people just eat. But if you go in the food court and you see too much people not eating, but they just there, okay? All right? You know, there's too much thug energy. You see too many people with their pants all day behind. You see too many folk. And I'm being real, y'all. I'm just telling it like it is. Because it's all here. It's all what I've seen verbatim, real life. Okay, so where I'm at right now is a good one. But if you see all that energy I'm talking about, no, it's time to, may not want to eat here today. May not want to sit down. It's too many that they didn't come to shop. They come to get their frustrations out. Everything that they feel entitled to. They think, the world owed them the ability for me to act out because I'm hurting. So I go take my drama everywhere I go. So you don't want to be in the mall when you see too much of that, okay? You don't want to be in the mall when you see too much of that. And when I say sagging, y'all think I'm, some folk in this new generation, I know that if they see this video, they'll be like, man, who that old dude? What are you talking about, man? Let me explain something to y'all. I grew up, I'm old enough to remember when that trend started, okay? When this prison-based trend started because of folk coming home from jail and big brother comes home and little brother wants to be like big brother, so he comes to school doing this goofiness and he's not even a badass. And now the other kids are wondering, man, what's wrong with him? And for a few weeks, it's a mystery, like, what are you doing? But then when everybody want to be hip and cool, they all start doing it. And before you know it, it's a little trend amongst all the little wannabe badasses, right? And then, but it was never to the level of, it's just automatic. We're all young, this is what we do. Now, other trends, yes, I loved baggy clothes. I did the whole baggy clothes thing, but my pants never fell off my ass. Never. Wasn't about that life. Ain't gonna condone it. Find it quite disgusting and a telltale immediate signal of a deprived mind state and a willingness to be a part of prison culture, to be a part of downfall, to be a part of all that. It just is what it is. No way around it. It's always going to be on the lower side of the scale. It's never going to be near the top. I don't care how many people have gotten rich doing it in their image. I guarantee you when they went to the meetings to sign paperwork, to bring you these albums, to bring you these movies, to bring you whatever they do with their pants hanging off their ass, they wasn't looking like that in the boardroom. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care what they tell you. And if they were, it wasn't because they were dealing with the people who really have power. They were just doing the final deals, because if you're dealing with the realest of the real, that is not going to be acceptable. Now, and it's not black excellence for those who try to put everything under the banner of that if it's related to hip-hop culture. No, not at all. Not at all. spokesperson for Black excellence, is right here, right now, one of many, saying what I got to say about that. So, as you see, as I came down, you get more cars. But when you're on the top level, generally, the very top, not as much going on. And it's better to park it, parking deck away from the entrances that everybody want to be at. So, okay. This is the Bloomingdale's bottom level, like I was showing. So you see on the top what it was. But that entrance that you may have noticed near Banana Republic is a pretty good one. I know about that one because once upon a many, feels like a century ago, I used to work stock at Banana Republic. And used to have a really good discount. Got some real cool sweaters and stuff for working there. Got a pea coat that I still got. That pea coat's still good. It's good clothes, just good clothes. But yeah, I used to work there, and so I used to park up there to go to work. So I knew that was a good place to park any other time. And that's why I did that. So now we done pretty much kind of looped the mall, by the way. We're back over near, we're headed back towards Peachtree. We're headed back towards that main entrance. Okay, Neiman Marcus right there. And then, you know, you got other areas or whatever, parking decks and things for each store. But like I say, your best bet is just to not be in the rigmarole. Now, if you get out here and it's crowded and you think, oh man, it's so crowded, I don't even want to park on the mall side. I'm gonna park over here on these other shops and walk across the streets. Don't do it. 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 Do you see it? Boot it. You will be booted. Do not play in it, man. Do not. Just don't. Please don't. Don't do it. So this little parking lot, this little plaza area with fancy stuff over here, where this Crate and Barrel is across the street from Lenny's. I'm just literally right across right now when I made the turn in. And like I said, that Crate and Barrel used to be a Tower Records. Love that store. Oh my gosh, I used to love Tower. Tower was the bomb. Who remembers Tower Records? If you remember Tower Records, put it in the comments. Appreciate you. But yeah, this is a nice little strip of stuff. I've never shopped there. I've been in that Crate and Barrel because I was curious what they did to reformat it to that after it being Tower. And it's just amazing to see where the store, you know, when they give it a facelift, like, man, it's like a whole nother place for real. Entirely different. The Tower was the bomb. And they also used to be, I'll tell you, man, you know, again, real ATL folk who know the history of this city and what it's been, will be, what it is, what it ain't, what it gonna be like. And that phrase, shawty. Look here. This here on the corner, this place, what is this? This is Suit Supply, they call it now. But that used to be, and I think that's new. I don't think I've even seen that. Suit Supply. Okay. Men's suits, okay. Right. High-end, casual and dress, I'm assuming. Yeah, mostly casual style. Okay, gotcha. But that used to be, on the corner of it anyway, a place called Books Japan, which might still be open. And I used to love going in there too, because they had, just what it says, it was a Japanese bookstore, and everything was straight from Japan. And when I was deep into manga, getting my comics, you talking about spending up some money. I used to order books that they didn't even have, and you know, you could get them for like $10, which was still kind of steep for, you know. But it was a thick book. No, I couldn't read a bit of kanji, but I just loved the artwork, and I would get different books from there. So that was one of my spots. Yeah, that was definitely one of my spots. And I also tell a story about that. It was funny because I'd be like the only black person anytime I was in there. And I remember back at the time, I was married back then, I'm divorced, but I was in the store one time, and this lady that worked there, it was all Japanese staff, and she would always be looking at me so suspicious. Everybody else there didn't care. I come in, they just kind of nod, I nod back, that was it. You know, I got my little greeting, that's it. I just started looking around. Nobody cared that I was there. She was the only one kind of sweating me. I was like, yeah, dang, woman, you looking at me like that? Don't be the stereotype sweating somebody. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, where this story is going is all love. I love my people. I love my Asian peoples. They ain't got nothing to do with that. But I am telling the story to say she had a little bit of an issue personally. Seems she did. So that's the irony. Okay, let me finish the story. You'll get where I'm going with this. So she was Sweater Brother, you know, and I'd be like, so one night, I'm in there looking at some magazines and stuff, and my ex at the time, my, you know, wife at the time, my ex is at the door, so I was like, oh, because I told her I would be in there. She came peeking through the window, like, to see if I was in there, and I was walking over to the door to let her in, and I still had the magazine in my hand. As soon as I started coming toward the door, that lady looked at me like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to run out with the damn magazine. I said, oh my God, are you kidding me? So I just looked at her, opened the door, my ex came in, we started talking, then she calmed down. I'm just like, you just played yourself, because ain't nobody on that tip. But anyway, the irony of it was, and I had spent so much money there, that's what pissed me off about it. I had been buying so many books, I'm like, really? You gonna treat me like this? Wow, okay. But like I said, there were other people who were cool. No one ever gave me that too, but her. And then so one day I was checking out some videos. I used to love to get. They had rentals. This is the MARTA station, by the way. Like I said, all this land over here used to be a black community. Little side statement. Go back if you're just joining us. So anyway, one day I'm in that Japanese bookstore, like I was talking about, and it was I used to get PLURAL. PLURAL is professional wrestling. VHS, y'all. VHS tapes. They used to rent the tapes from Japan. And I had no access, no channel, no cable channel here. But I would get New Japan videos. If anybody knows about PLURAL, I would get, oh my gosh, Wings Federation, all these cool videos. And then at one point, I just like started buying them even, because they didn't, I mean, they'd just be like, yo, they're for sale, because don't nobody even check them out. And I was checking them out, and the lady started talking to me. And I was like, suddenly she's all friendly to me. She said, you know, you're the only person who checks these out. I was like, well, yeah, I love PLURAL. I like wrestling. I like all kind of sci-fi, fantasy, action, cool stuff like that, comics and all that. She's like, wow. It's like, well, you always in here. I would just assume you must really love this. And I was like, okay, so now she's friendly. So I was like, yeah, I do. And we ended up talking, and she was cool. And so that could have went two ways. I mean, I could have gotten mad that first time and been like, lady, why you sweating me? Ain't nobody trying to steal no damn book up in here or whatever. I just kept my cool and looked at her like, you the fool, you know. And then later on, she was embarrassed about it, so she wanted to be friendly. And we ended up being cool. What was really hilarious was she told me, I learned her name. She told me the meaning of her name. And then she said that her husband, I was like, this is hilarious. She was like, her husband liked to do R&B. I was like, is your husband black? She's like, no, he's white, but he's in a band and he loves rhythm and blues music, and I love it too. And this is too funny right now. This is too funny. So yeah, but that was Books Japan out here in Buckhead. I tell all that stuff. I love to tell these human stories because it reveals a lot of our, you know, everybody's insecurities, racial profiling, moments that can go either way, all kind of ways. It's up to you, you know. You can determine the way the energy goes. Like I say, I could have presented myself in a whole nother way and then become the villain she expected me to be at first, versus I know who I am and I'm not that guy. So you're not, you know, you don't have the right to treat me no kind of way, and you're not gonna treat me like a criminal because I'm not a criminal. So by me taking that stance, she was embarrassed. She felt like, you know, she never formally said, oh, I'm so sorry for that day or whatever, and I didn't mean anything. But she knew she had played herself. So every time I would come in there after that, you know, she'd kind of be like very, very humble, very nice. And anything I can do to help you or whatever you're looking for. So anyway, y'all, stories from Buckhead, right? So I'm gonna make this right here. They're on Phipps Plaza across the street. Now Phipps, I tell you what, now, not to say they've never had an incident, because I'm sure they have, but if you want to go to jail for showing Atlanta, see, Lennox doesn't let these folk come out here and act a little bit of a fool, and you know, they went home or stay here and think, oh yeah, we can just do whatever we want out there. But let me tell you something, you try some of what's been going on at Lennox over here, oh man, I don't know what they're going to do to you. Look here, the K9 unit rolling. They are not playing, y'all. That's the first time I've ever seen a K9 unit for security at a mall. But they said they're going to start doing that. Have gun-sniffing dogs. I saw in an article. I said, man. Woo, boy, I tell you. Y'all folk who ain't ATLiens and all y'all who new Atlanta folk who may have been born here, whatever, just trying to turn Atlanta. Look at this. Right here. Ready for you. They're not playing, y'all. They're not playing. The word is out. Sheriff's call over here. They are not playing. It's not a game. You need to keep all that foolishness at home, and y'all need to work your minds out. Straight up. Like, there's just so much work needs to be done on the folk who are the culprits of these situations. And this is not to say that, you know, I don't understand society and all the degradation and all the mental oppression that has gone on that has led to these folks that get up in the mall coming from hood environments and want to bring all that mess to, you know, these nice environments, whatever. You know, there's just plenty of quote unquote white collar crime that made all of this possible. And there's plenty of ongoing, what are you doing? What kind of parking? Lord have mercy, this lady. There's plenty of, you know, really, you know, notorious stuff that makes for all of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah, I'm not blind to the facts, but I'm saying this attitude that I've been seeing all my life of some folk that have less and feel less, think, you know, they have to show out to be acknowledged, to have a good time, to do anything. It's all about bring the pain. And the thing is, what's really sad is a lot of times it's not even the worst of folks. It's not even folk who come from the worst of it. Because most people who come from the absolute worst are so happy to get away from all that they don't bring that mess with them. They clean it off of themselves. They change themselves for the better. They work on their life. They work on their communities. They work on their families. They get their stuff together, y'all. You know? And they don't celebrate degradation, you know? So, it's a mixed bag of emotions with this because, yes, I love hip-hop music and some parts of the cultures. I keep saying it. Somebody gonna get hip to it and start saying it with me. Because I can't claim everything that people want to label through commercialization, because that's all it is. Commercial mental training of you're part of the culture. You're part of the culture. You're part of the culture. Just driving it in. Well, what is that? Well, the culture is this and the culture is that. And sometimes what that is so ass backwards. It's not progressive. So you gotta ask yourself, is what I consider my daily routine, my lifestyle, my way, the people I want around me, is that progressive? Or is it dysfunctional? Because that's all that matters. Function and dysfunction. And so, got a lot of people that just, you know, don't know no other way but dysfunction. And they're so hurt, they can't take therapy. They can't take any form of reform to get them out of that sad state of mind to consider a different way. You know, and they take it with them everywhere they go and bring hell because of it. So that's a lot of what's going on, I see, you know. And you know, it's just gonna get nipped in the bud though. It's just like some towns let that stuff flourish a little longer than others. I'm gonna tell you for real, Atlanta is not that town. It's not. Don't play. I'm trying to save lives with what I'm saying on this one, y'all. I really am. I'm hoping I'm waking up somebody. I'm hoping I'm speaking to somebody's soul that needs to hear it, or to just got a head nod from folk who are like me and agree with where I'm coming from, because they understand that enough is enough. And, you know, we don't want to see the day where, you know, they close LENOX Mall, which I doubt. There's too much money in LENOX. They just gonna end up banning, one way or another, certain energy. And to go back to that dress code element of pants sagging and crap, I've been knowing for years. I was like, man, wow. First they mess your head up enough to even do it. Then, after they had you in the system, in the prison industrial complex, to the point where you make it part of your identity, you start saying, this is the culture, this is us, okay? So then you get to the point where you're doing it so out of habit. It's such a habit. There's nothing odd about it. You just have varied levels of it. Like, oh, I sag a little bit. I sag with my butt crack showing. I sag dang near where I walked through the bar one time. I swear on everything. I saw a man. Maybe he was homeless. He was obviously had some mental issues. He's in Lenox, and this man walked past me. He was shorter than me, so I'm looking down, and I glimpsed down because I just felt the energy. You know how you walking past somebody, but you're trying to mind your business, just keep your eyes forward, but you're paying attention, you know? And I could feel him looking at everybody who getting near him, so he kind of glanced at me, I glanced at him. I was like, oh, this dude was walking around in the mall. His pants were sagging so low, you could see his pubic hair starting to show. I said, what the? It was absolutely just, it's gross, y'all. It's obscene. It's unsanitary. I could just go on and on and on and on. And I'm saying they're gonna get to the point where that's gonna be the quickest way they ban it. They're gonna say, yo, if your parents are saying you can't come in the mall, it'll be a sign. And everybody gonna try and say, oh, they just targeting black folk. Well, if you think that's black, then that's the problem. That ain't you. That ain't your roots. In the end of it all, man, they're gonna block all that. You're gonna end up where, yo, they'll be checking bags. You know, man, it's gonna get real. I can see all of what's coming. They'll be checking bags. They'll be, you know, you are not coming in here with a certain look. And y'all, and some of y'all who about that life gonna be upset because you're gonna feel like, man, we bought these pants, these skinny jeans, and other stuff so we can sack them off out behind from this mall and other malls like this. And y'all gonna tell us we can't even wear it in here no more? Who got played? Who got played? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Stop the madness, y'all. Pull your pants up, pull your minds up. It's not just a fashion statement. It's not just a style. It's a mental conditioning. Now, some of y'all gonna look at this video and be like, man, where in the hell did this go? I thought we were just riding around Atlanta. Yeah, well, on WhäLr Talks, WhäLr Rides, we get real. We talk about the real. This is where I put it all out there, y'all. Go tell a friend, tell a friend. We're gonna be real or we're gonna be nothing, okay? Holla.